Today, we are diving headfirst into a pretty mind-bending mystery that sits right at the crossroads of modern science and ancient history. We're looking at a text, one that is literally 1,400 years old, that makes some, frankly, startling claims about our universe. So we've got to ask, are these ancient words just a massive coincidence, or is there something more going on here? Let's get right into it.
The source material actually sets the stage for us with this really high-stakes question. How in the world could a text from 14 centuries ago hold detailed secrets about, well, the whole shebang? Everything from the vast cosmos down to human biology. I mean, is it really just a giant coincidence?
To figure that out, let's start with Section 1, Secrets of the Universe. We're going macro here. The text kicks things off with this incredibly vivid description of the cosmos. It explicitly states that the heavens and the earth initially existed as a single, joined entity, literally one united piece, before being violently separated or cloven asunder. Just hold on to that image for a second.
Now, fast forward to today. Think about the Big Bang Theory. This is the modern scientific consensus for how our universe kicked off, right? It tells us that billions of years ago, absolutely everything in the cosmos started out from a single, infinitely dense point before rapidly expanding outward.
When you actually put these two concepts side by side, the parallel is honestly kind of wild. You've got this 1,400-year-old description of a singular, united mass being split apart, and it maps almost perfectly onto our modern astrophysical understanding of a dense point expanding to create the universe.
And it doesn't just stop at the birth of the universe either. The text actually makes a direct claim about what the universe is doing right now, stating that it is currently in a state of continuous expansion.
Which is crazy because it wasn't until the 20th century that modern scientists were able to observe this. We now know for a fact that the metric space of the universe is actively stretching out. Galaxies are literally pulling away from each other. So you have this modern astrophysics breakthrough that perfectly mirrors a centuries-old verse.
Okay, moving right along to Section 2, Earth and Oceans. Let's look at some planetary wonders.
Zooming in on our own planet, the source material presents this fascinating geological analogy. It describes mountains not just as, massive rocks sitting on the surface, but as pegs that stabilize the ground. Sort of like how a tent peg is driven deep into the dirt to keep a tent from blowing away.
What's really cool here is that modern geology completely backs up this structural reality. Mountains really don't just sit on top of the crust. They have these massive, deep roots that extend way down below the surface. And these roots are absolutely crucial for stabilizing the Earth's crust through a process known as isostasy.
The parallels keep popping up when you look at meteorology, too. The explainer points out that the exact sequential stages of the water cycle, so water evaporating, forming into clouds, and then falling back down as rain, are mapped out super accurately in the text. And this was written centuries before anyone had the atmospheric science to actually measure those steps.
Then there's the oceans. The text makes a really specific claim that there is a physical yet invisible barrier between certain bodies of water. It says this barrier prevents two seas with different properties from mixing even when they physically meet.
Today, oceanographers totally understand this. It's a phenomenon called marine stratification, or haloclines. Basically, there are these zones in the ocean where waters with drastically different salinities, temperatures, and densities crash into each other, but they remain separated by invisible physical barriers. It's exactly as the ancient text described.
So this brings up a pretty massive, suspenseful question. Without satellites, without deep-sea submersibles, or any advanced geological tools, how could anyone naturally know all of this 1,400 years ago?
Keeping that question in the back of our minds, let's jump into Section 3, Iron from the Sky. We're talking cosmic elements now.
Let's look at the elements themselves. The source material highlights a very specific and kind of strange phrase regarding iron. It states that iron wasn't actually created here, but rather it was sent down to Earth.
Well, modern astrophysics tells a remarkably similar story. It turns out, iron requires extreme heat to form, like heat that is only found in the cores of dying stars, or supernovas. It literally cannot be synthesized natively right here within Earth's core. Every single piece of iron on our planet was delivered via ancient meteorite impacts over billions of years.
So think about that. The literal ancient translation of iron being sent down aligns flawlessly with its actual extraterrestrial origin. The iron in the tools we use, the steel in our buildings. Actually, scratch that. Even the iron in our blood. It all literally fell from space.
All right, section 4, human creation. Let's look at some microscopic miracles.
We're zooming all the way in now to the miracle of